Hello there internet dwellers, welcome back to another video. Today we are jumping into another ARG, and in my own time I've been researching this, and I've got to say guys, I am super impressed with what I've been seeing. A lot of you may know this ARG already. It's called Welcome Home, and this was done by one person basically. I believe so anyway, like the characters and this website I believe was designed by one person. Maybe they're getting more help in. I feel like most amazing things are usually done by one person, like one creative mind, rather than like spreading ideas out, because I think they really nail what they're trying to achieve if it's in their own head. And if they've got the skills and creativity to do what they want to do, then it's fair game. It's going to be amazing. So yeah, this is Welcome Home. It's an ARG based off of an old puppet show that I believe was kind of like taken from public viewing in 1974. I think it was running for like 5 years or so. What I'm going to do, guys, is I'm going to go through each page, and because I've already done some research on this, I'm going to show you the little things that aren't quite right with what you're seeing, because obviously when you look at it at first glance it looks nice and cuddly, maybe a little bit too cuddly, but there's something deep within here, and obviously not all answers are in here just yet. Things are being updated, things are being added. It's going to be fun. This is going to be an ongoing series, that's for sure. So what I think is the best thing to do to really show you what we're dealing with here, to kind of tease what we're dealing with here, is we're going to take away the welcome home after the / just so we've got www.clownillustration.com. This leads us to Clown, and Clown is the person who makes all this content. So if we go to about Welcome Home, this is what we're going to be dealing with. I'm going to come back to the pictures and stuff later, but I think we're just going to read through this one just so you guys can have like a clear understanding of what we're dealing with here. Hello, my name is Clown. Let me tell you about my project Welcome Home. Welcome Home is a horror project that focuses on unraveling the mystery surrounding a beloved 1970s children's television show. You are to accompany a colorful cavalcade of puppets as their beloved neighborhood begins to skew and distort into a nightmarish memory that they can barely recall. Through illustrated books, recordings, and an array of old merchandise, you will find what dwells within this colorful home. Beneath its beautiful carpets, behind its gorgeous wallpaper, and deep within its breathing crevices. Fortunately, you have someone to keep you company and hold your hand as you walk down a path now long forgotten. Now I'm just going to tease this one here. This is Wally here. I'm just giving you a little taste of the dark imagery. You'll see down here, I'll come back to this at the end, okay? A house is a place with 4 walls and a floor with a ceiling above and a lovely front door. There's a bed to cradle you safely at night and windows to bring in the morning sunlight. Your house is a mirror of just who you are, a reflection that tells you to never stray far. Warnings! Welcome Home is a story centered around a gaggle of friendly faces whose sunny days transform into something unexplainable. With that said, it is important to state that this is a psychological horror that touches upon a few topics that may require a warning beforehand, especially during its development. So this is all still being developed. This is in the prologue era of this ARG, and it's already fantastic, let me tell you that, guys. Common attributes in Welcome Home that may not be suitable for all audience are listed below. Eyes, eye contact or staring, unreality or derealization, gore, puppets or mannequins, exploration of heavy topics like death, isolation, and mental health. Auditory unease such as unpleasant sounds. I don't think there's any sounds yet or videos of this thing just yet, unless I haven't found them yet. But it's still pretty early days, so who knows, like these ARGs can go on for years sometimes. Okay, this is a thank you message. I'd like to say the support and positivity I've received since I've started making Welcome Home in 2018 has been overwhelming. I am so appreciative of everyone that has ever created something for me, listened to me talk about it, or even peruse my online gallery of artwork and words to try and understand what I'm creating. It makes me excited to continue working on it and share what I can with you. Welcome Home is a way to explore what I can do as an artist and try out new things. So basically, guys, what they're saying is they're wanting to showcase their story, stuff like that, and their character designs, and they're all fantastic. And basically, it's all done by one person. So there's a coffee link here, which I will put in the description down below. Be sure to go and support Clown, because it is absolutely they are fantastic. They are creating something amazing here, and I have a feeling that this thing is going to be absolutely huge. I saw Nightmind cover a video on this, like doing similarly what I'm doing now, and it's nearly got 1 million views, and that was just over a week ago now. So it's pretty popular, let me say that. Free to contact me, my email there. All right, let's head into this home together. Thank you, wahaha. So what you'll notice me doing, guys, throughout each page is hitting Control A because it highlights the words. So the only way I can describe what you're going to see is like a mixture of old FNAF. I remember Scott Games when he used to put stuff in the source code and stuff. I'm not sure if there's anything in the source code of this, but there's like hidden things. When you highlight, there's like hidden text. It's like Welcome to the Game as well, where you can click certain areas. So we're going to come back to this page at the end, but for now, let's go home. Hello, neighbor, come on in. So you can also press tab here. So there's 2 things here. Let me just see if each one is different. Let me have a look. Come in. Okay, they both lead to the same thing. So if you hit tab, I learned this from Nightmind. I didn't watch all of the video that he did, but that guy has a fantastic voice, I'll tell you that. I could listen to that guy speak all day. But if you hit tab, it basically highlights what you can click, which is a massive help. So this is the home page of Welcome Home. This here is, if you save image, you can see what it is. Hello. Right, let's jump into this then. With a hop, skip, and a jump, you are ushered into the colourful, serendipitous world of Welcome Home. It only takes one stroll down the neighbourhood to know that this is just the nicest little place you've ever seen. Watch Wally, I don't know why that's red, and his colourful array of friendly neighbours learn about the vibrant world around them and take part in nonsensical fun. The first thing I'm kind of getting from this, because it's like a puppet show, but it's kind of like Mr. Rogers meets the Muppets, I guess. The art is absolutely phenomenal. Like, spooks aside, the art is absolutely fantastic. So, Clown, you've done a fantastic job. Welcome to the Welcome Home website. Feel free to explore our humble homepage and learn more about a puppet show now lost to obscurity. So this website is basically people who have found remnants of this show, and this website is basically putting old remnants together, and I'm guessing as it goes along, things are going to be found, or the people that are finding these things are going to start getting affected by something. There's a lot of like demon kind of stuff in this. You'll see what I mean. So website updates, here we go. Welcome home, neighbor. Would like to wish you all a happy mail-in-time day. Always remember to love your fellow neighbor. Here's another thing, guys. I'm just going to call it out as I see it. There are certain words that do not match the font. You can see here, look, the Y is there, but there's also a Y on top of that. I'm going to keep tabs on these. I'm going to write them down, each letter that I see, like in the order that the website wants us to visit it. So we'd like to wish you a happy moment. Always remember to love your fellow neighbor and remind them that you care with a heart-shaped card or even a nice homemade cookie. We know Eddie would appreciate you spreading the love. You'll find that Eddie, I believe, is the postman of the group. We are also happy to announce a very exciting collaboration with No Museum Curator, Question Answerer, to help spread the word of Welcome Home to existence. Head down to the news page to find out more. I think before we get into the main website, the news is always going to be like something that they've added, I guess. So we're going to go through this. Yeah, as you can see, there's like new things here. So this was the first news headline. This is Wally here. Okay, here we go then. Here's the first news message that was posted, and this was on January 14th, 2023. Welcome to the Welcome Home Restoration Project, first ever news post. We're so excited to begin interacting more with our fellow Welcome Home community. We may be only a few folks, but what is a neighborhood but not a lot of love and a strong foundation? We have overhauled much of our website, so please explore our new home. We've added a page so that you can get to know us better, updated much of the information we know about our favourite cast of colourful characters, and have a page for those who want to spread the good word about our happy home through our link page. We've also added so many more of your lovely signatures, so please head on over to the Guestbook to find yours or add your own. Alongside these new updates, we've also decided to include this news page to keep everyone up to date on what we found, maybe even what you found. Our sources take time, but we'd hate to leave a neighbour in the dark, so we plan on updating the page whenever possible. As Frank Frankly would say, every detail is important and we'll love to showcase every little thing we've uncovered. Happy New Year, neighbour. Now make like Barnaby and have a ball. I'm just going to Control A just to make sure there's no hidden things here. So this was the second post here on January 15th. We are so happy to announce how positive the feedback has been on our new updated websites. Hundreds of page views and more guest signatures is something to really celebrate. So when Nightmind did a video on this, there was like 9,000 page views. I believe there's like 500,000 page views now. now if you go onto the main page. We hope in the coming months to continue our restoration processes and share them all with you. A few new items we have uncovered in the recent months are the additions of the main cast family members. How exciting. Julie's siblings, Jonesy, Beer, and Franny are a few examples. So this probably won't mean anything to you just yet if you don't know what the characters are, but bear with us, okay? If we ever come back to this, which we will, we'll always come back to this news part first, just in case there's something that they outline that we should go look at. Because they don't quite say, oh, there's a new thing we've added here. They do it in a way where you want to go check out that page and then there's like something hidden there, which is pretty cool. A couple of cool cats who bloom just as brightly as Julie herself, although their faces suggest that they don't all share her cheerful disposition. Very funny for a joyful. Julie Joyful, that's her name. Barnaby's mother, Miss Beagle, is another surprising addition. We weren't expecting a chicken, but once we have cleaned up more of her uncovered pages, we will be happy to show you. This is all for more information. Unfortunately, we do feel like we should address some concerns we have seen and heard. There are a few setbacks in the coding of this website. If only Eddie Dear were here. Could he use a computer? But not to worry, neighbour. It only seems to be a few graphics and text that are askew. Please ignore them and continue to peruse our happy home until we can get everything patched up. So that's their way of saying there's something hidden here. Keep your eye out, basically. Have a wonderful day. Show the world your best smile. So this is the last update here. Lots of love, neighbors. Love is in the air, or so they say. And we have managed to uncover additional cards from what we believe to be a previously sold package of Welcome Home Valentine's Day cards. A few of these cards existed in our gallery prior to this update, such as Julie Joyful, Frank Frankly, and Eddie Dear. But at the time of their restoration, much of the package found was soaking wet, so uncovering the entire set had been a dilemma. We assume it must be water damage. However, our restorers have managed to clean up Sally Starlet and Howdy Pillar to what we believe to be their original glory. Hot dog! What's happening here, guys, is that these originals were on like the paper, I guess, and that they're finding these old like drawings on paper and like concept sketches, and they're kind of doing them digitally. But you'll find there's a kind of difference between the page, like the drawings that they've done, and the actual revamped version. So obviously these were found in some kind of storage, which is interesting, and we'll probably get onto that a bit later. We've also uncovered a few more intriguing details, neighbours. Although much of the package is unreadable, there appears to be a made-up holiday these cards were meant to promote. Mail-in Time Day is found on the back of all the cards, as well as on the packaging itself. This may have been a holiday displayed on only on the show, perhaps associated with Eddie Dear. Wally and Barnaby are displayed on the front of the package, but they are wearing his uniform. What a charming thought. We wonder if our dear mailman has someone to spend this special day with. We assume it may be a mailbox. We've also updated our guestbook as well, so if you remember leaving us a kind message, feel free to peruse the gallery of signatures left on our lovely little webpage. That's their way of saying we've added something to the guest page. We'll get onto that. Speaking of love, neighbour, we also have one more large update to share. The Welcome Home Restoration Project has received so much love and support in the duration of our efforts to recover this lost piece of media, but even better, you believe me, you know it is out there. With that said, someone has reached out to us to offer the opportunity to showcase our findings publicly for the world to see in an in-person exhibition. They are regarded as the question answerer, a professional exhibitor and museum curator who believes in our happy home just as much as we do. Together we will get it out, we will get everything out. You will see as we do, neighbour. More information will arrive as we prepare for this exciting installation. So it's going to be like a real thing. So from what I can see, there's nothing added here. And that's it for the news, I guess. So let's just jump in. So this is the first page we come across. I think it's called Welcome Home. If you press this button, you go back to the home page. Critically praised and financially successful, Welcome Home dominated its Saturday morning time slot with its colourful cast of puppets. Entertaining and addictive stories and lively sets unlike anything seen before. Surely a spectacle for audience of all ages. So what I'm going to do, guys, but after reading each thing, is highlight it all, just so I'm not missing out anything. So here's, I think this is Barnaby, and I'm not sure, Wally? That's not Wally. I think it's Wally, yeah. Wally's wearing Barnaby's ears. Welcome Home was an American children's television program created and produced by the Playfellow Workshop, which served as the studio's only production. Supposedly, its first episode aired on October 11th, 1969 and was broadcast onto an unknown channel until its last estimated air date sometime in 1974. Nothing added on there. Welcome Home primarily focused on the neighbors, the show's inhabitants, who were accompanied by a mixture of animated breaks and illustrated storybook segments. The setting itself was a colourful and exaggeratedly designed town named Home, with unique elements like a post office and a bodega, as well as brightly coloured creatures that lived within it. Episodes usually begin with Wally introducing the focus or theme for the day before coming across other characters who would join him on his escapades until the end of the day. As you'll see, you'll kind of get a Mr. Rogers vibe, like I said, from Wally, which would signify the end of the show. All of the characters had notable recurring segments that were sprinkled throughout the entirety of the show's run, such as Eddie Deer creating arts and crafts, Sally Starlett performing plays, or Wally Darling painting a picture with the help of other members of the cast. The viewer was often regarded as an additional neighbor, with Wally speaking to them on a regular basis. There we go. You see how that W is out of place? Okay, so far we have a Y and a W. What you'll see here, guys, is what they were talking about in the news. So this is all the concept art and stuff like that. Like, these puppets are here to stay. So I think this is Eddie. This is Sally Starlett, I believe. I'm not sure. Welcome Home, an unfamiliar neighbor is just a friend you haven't met yet, and the world of Welcome Home has plenty of new faces to get acquainted with. Colourful characters like Wally, Julie, Barnaby, and are waiting to meet you. Invite them into your happy home with toys that will last a lifetime. So I'm guessing this is like merch maybe that was sold. But there's quite a few things here. You guys should definitely go through this yourself. A lot of artists out there will definitely appreciate the amount of work that has gone into this, like concept art and stuff. This was done by one person, bear in mind. As far as I'm aware, the clown was the one that made all the characters here, and it's absolutely fantastic. Eddie, we need to get down to business. We need pencil pushers. We need pushers to push those pencils. We need a big board for the big board meeting about the big boards. And this pie graph is supposed to be blueberry, not strawberry. Now hold on there, Julie. I'm so confused. I don't know whether to scratch my watch or wind my head. Let me just quickly make sure there's no things. Okay. We'll have a look at that afterwards. So we'll follow that naturally. We'll go to the About Us. Actually, we'll go to the neighborhood after this, and then About Us, because that's the order. So if you scroll through here, it genuinely feels like it's an old show. May I ask for some wisdom of Wally's on this fine day? A voice rang out through Home. Wally looked up from his painting. Yes, Wally replied. I hope that helped. It's on the house for Valentine's. So these were the Valentine's Day cards that they were referring to in news. And it's so cool, man. Like, the character designs are phenomenal. And I just get the same vibe that FNAF gave me when the new teasers came out, new games came out. And it also kind of has an Undertale-esque where it feels like these characters are going to be quite iconic. I'm guessing this is Halloween. This is all the neighbors here. There he is. So the interesting thing about Wally's house is that it actually has eyeballs, which is scary, and we'll discover that a little bit more later. But I'm just basically just showcasing the art. Guys, I sincerely suggest you check out the artwork. It is phenomenal. I think you should discover this for yourself. I'm not sure if there's any kind of like lore hidden here. I guess there is, maybe. But from what I saw when I was doing it, when I was looking at this yesterday, it was basically just showing off the artwork, but then again, I'm not very observant. But yeah, these restored remnants and reproduced pieces. So all of what you're seeing here has basically been reproduced from sketches to actually digital. But we're going to move on now, guys. So this is Home. Wally's house, Home. You can see its eyes. It's very unnerving. I don't know why there's a chimney here and there's not one there, but Welcome Home is believed to have had a 4-year run upon further research before both its abrupt pull from television in 1974 and complete silence from its entertainment company, the Playfellow Workshop. Welcome Home's success seemed to be set in stone amidst other television programs for its visual artistry, captivating stories, remarkable puppetry, and lively characters. However, all footage is presumably lost, including supposed merchandise, advertisements, vinyl records, and illustrated books depicted in the episodes. However, what has been revealed has driven us to uncover its whereabouts. It's very interesting because when it comes to ARGs like this, like Liminal Land and stuff, you can basically make merch for things that technically didn't exist, but I can imagine the merch for this is going to be fantastic. Like, there will be merch released, definitely. I'm not sure if there is any at the moment, but it will be fantastic. Right, let's move on to the neighborhood now, guys, where we actually get to meet the cast and crew. We'll start off at the top here. Home is where the heart is, and Welcome Home's residents are the heart of the neighborhood. Even if you don't live there, you're still one of the most important denizens. But don't worry, with the help of this colourful array of neighbours, it'll feel just like home in no time at all. Now, there are clickable links here, guys, but I'll do it at the end once I've introduced this. But let me just make sure there's no other things that's been added. Interesting this, look, that when you hit Control A, it highlights everything, but the house is still, like, there, I guess. Very strange. Right, let's start up here then. This is Julie, undoubtedly the cheeriest neighbour a puppet could ask for. Julie Joyful is Welcome Home's happiest residents. Amidst such a rainbow of brightly coloured neighbours, that's really saying something. Upbeat, silly, and always ready to play with her friends, there's never a boring day in Welcome Home while she's around. She is Frank's best friend. We'll find out about Frank in a minute. Just quickly Control A this. Man, the eye is so cool. According to uncovered scripts, Julie was a rainbow monster that was said to have come from deep within the forest that surrounded the outskirts of home. She lived with her family in a cave, but sought out a life of her own and moved away. Many of her skits and activities centered around playing games, whether they were as familiar as jump rope and hopscotch or simply made up on a whim. She was often depicted with Frank as a comedic foil. On merchandise and advertising and in the song The Fun in Your Frown, no track. See, the thing is that clown is setting these things up to potentially release like forgotten media, lost media, and obviously as the popularity of this ARG increases, he'll be able to outsource people to do tracks, to do videos and stuff like that, and it's just going to build up this amazing universe of Welcome Home. And I don't know, I haven't felt like this in a long time when it comes to ARG stuff, but yeah, it's super dope. Recent evidence has revealed that Julie's family consisted of 3 siblings who were all also rainbow monsters, but with greatly differing colour palettes. Their names were Bea, Franny, and Jonesy, but they do not appear to have lived in home alongside her. There was also a prevalent theme of flowers. This can be seen with Julie herself looking like an open flower from above, and illustrations that would reveal her speaking to flowers to make them bloom. Interesting as well, guys, is that all of the characters except one say go back. The other one simply says goodbye, which is very final. Okay, we're going to go... Should we go clockwise? Let's go clockwise. So we'll go to the right here. So this is Sally, the most rambunctious resident in Welcome Home. Sally Starlet shines above the rest. She's a firecracker who is willing to let her imagination run wild in the name of a new adventure, albeit at the occasional expense of her cautious neighbours. Thankfully, she's got a good head on her shoulders and perhaps one could even say a sunny disposition to match. You're a funny one, you know that. You're hilarious. According to an uncovered script, Sally had once been the brightest star in the sky. Even more than those that surrounded her. However, upon looking down at a nearby celestial body from her spot, she knew that there were still places she had yet to truly shine and fell from above as a shooting star. She had seemingly accomplished her aspired stardom, as there are only 9 visible neighbours in home, all of whom know her. Sally was often focused on aspects of the theatre, such as acting or singing, which she felt she was more than well versed at from being a star. Obviously a natural star. Because of this, many of her segments often consisted of the entire ensemble of neighbours, with her playing the role of the director. The residents would act stories out on stage, either for the viewer or other neighbours, that would be displayed in the show as storytime segments. Many were focused on fairy tales with an abnormal turn, either at Sally's will or her expense, typically through Barnaby's presence and desire to entertain. Barnaby is another character, he's the dog of the group, you'll see him soon. Concept artwork revealed that Sally was a live-handed hand puppet, but required an additional hand to help move her head, as it was much larger than other puppets. So what you need to remember here, guys, is we're only seeing the animated side, like the drawn up side, the digital side, but these were supposedly puppets like in the Muppets, basically. Or Sesame Street, I guess you could say. Sesame Street would probably be more related to this, I feel. Maybe because of the kind of ensemble of like wacky characters. But yeah, that's Sally. So let's go back. I'm gonna move on now to Poppy. I love this. It's fantastic. Each one, like, I could just look at this. It's like, I really appreciate the art that's gone into this. The colouring is amazing. Perhaps the most frantic, frazzled and feathered neighbour in Welcome Home, Poppy Partridge is the resident chicken, so to speak. From a sprained beak to sunburnt feathers, she always thinks about the worst outcome of a pleasant situation. Then again, it never hurts to have a neighbour with a band-aid on hand. Old scripts outline that Poppy had lived with her family in a nest that had been tucked away in a tree hollow deep within the forest, but that she would eventually outgrow to a staggering degree. She would move into an empty barn and home, of which she would give a bird's touch. Poppy insisted she could fly in some iterations of her dialogue, most notably in her journey to home, but there was no evidence of this throughout the show's run. It is also not clear what kind of bird she is, as she has stated she is a bit of a flamingo on her father's side and a bit of a hen on her mother's side. You can see that. You can kind of see both of those. I was going to say like a peacock or something. She has also noted it's hard to keep track of a family tree. A lot of birds fit in trees, you know. She's not wrong. Poppy's puppet is a walk-around puppet that concept work noted had stood at around 8 feet tall. So we're talking like bigger than the FNAF animatronics. The photographs surrounding her height have yet to be uncovered. Poppy was rarely seen outside of her barn, typically being visited by neighbours instead. Many of her segments focused on baking, although she has been shown knitting, but she did not have a live hand counterpart, so other puppets were often doing her work for her in various skits. Illustrations note that some possible assistants were Frank, Eddie, Howdy, and Sally. Within the context of the show, this was because she was too scared to use appliances. Just the little details, the little small, like, genuinely the character building is amazing in this. Like, super good. Okay, this is where we come on to the post office. I think this is Eddie. Eddie, reliable, kind, and ever determined, Eddie Deer is the best mailman Welcome Home has ever had, albeit the only one. Despite being a bit of a clumsy and forgetful fellow, Eddie loves his job and always manages to deliver everyone's mail right on schedule, whatever you want to say. Let me do this quickly. Man, I love doing that because it shows it more, like the colors more. It's really cool. Eddie was a mail carrier who moved into home from a distant town in order to establish a post office there, that of which was known as Eddie's Post Office. Despite having a written origin, Eddie has never stated the correct name of where he came from throughout the show's run. The running joke often had him stating a place that did not exist, followed by an admission to misremembering it as a place he delivered to, as opposed to a place he lived. Eddie's segments would often focus on arts and crafts projects he would teach the other residents, which typically kept him behind the post office countertop. Uncovered printed material focused on preparing mail correctly, whether it was letters on or parcels. Eddie would frequently be found in the neighbourhood itself, often paired with a mail bag or a prop to be delivered. He would also become actively involved in skits involving the other neighbours, usually through providing solutions to others' problems through labour. Unlike Howdy's place, Eddie's post office did not require compensation for its services. Home's residents could come and go as they pleased before the day would end. Illustrated pages also noted that Eddie had a mother who was a mail carrier, but she was not given a name and only vaguely mentioned. Okay, then we're going to move on to Howdy. Howdy Pillar is Welcome Home's friendliest and happiest shopkeeper. This colourful caterpillar knows his store like the back of his hands, which is impressive considering how many hands he has. Charismatic, quick-witted, and remarkably jolly, Howdy always seems to have whatever his neighbours need with a price that just can't be beat. I don't even know who I'd say my favourite is at this point, because they're all fantastic. Howdy was a small-time caterpillar who wanted to start his own business, of which he accomplished in home as a much larger caterpillar. His bodega was named Howdy's Place and alternatively known as a Bugdega by Barnaby, of which he is their most loyal customer. Howdy was said to have originated from an apple core in a tree alongside his plentiful brothers and sisters, many of whom Howdy would offhandedly mention a plethora of by name throughout the show's run. Illustrated material typically depicted Howdy standing behind the counter of his bodega and at the open window along the side, especially when he is a part of skits with other residents. Howdy is rarely seen in the neighborhood sets beyond special occasions, which one of the only other instances being to visit or deliver goods to Poppy himself. Howdy would often exchange goods for funny jokes, silly observations, $1 ideas, and unique gadgets. Noted formerly as being his favorite customer, Barnaby would often appear regularly at Howdy's place. He would supply Howdy with a daily laugh in exchange for a hot dog. As such, old scripts will provide strange lingo to describe the various ways Howdy would prepare this hot dog, such as paint a bow wow red and yellow in the winter and make sure it's got legs, or a full house with a couple of bloodhounds. I don't even know what that means. Howdy's puppet was rotated between a live hand puppet and a walk around puppet in order to keep him in frame with his fellow residents. I love the attention to detail, man. Okay, I think we got two more here. So this is Barnaby. Barnaby, a goofy layabout with a love for jokes. Barnaby B. Beagle is Welcome Home's funniest neighbor, always ready with a joke on hand or even a silly observation. This big blue beagle always knows how to have fun, much to the dismay of some of the grumpier residents. Barnaby B. Beagle was the resident jokester who left his life on the farm to move to home, of which he joked as being the big city. Illustrated books noted that he was an orphaned puppy that was adopted by the chicken that crossed the road, comedically named Miss Beagle, which proved his motivation to be an entertainer. Similar sources noted Barnaby being able to perform a gaggle of tricks, such as juggling, balancing on a ball, and steadying large objects on the tip of his nose. Wally was often depicted alongside him, and illustrated pages noted that they were best friends multiple times. Examples included skits in which Wally would typically paint Barnaby in silly poses, or where Wally needed to learn something new. They also shared characteristics with one another, such as color palettes, hats on soles of their feet, and similarly designed outfits. So if you go back to the photos in the Welcome Home page, you'll see that there is a picture of, like, I think it's Wally painting the paws here like red. Many of Barnaby's segments were akin to stand-up, often being met with booing, clapping, or having things thrown at him by his fellow neighbors. Barnaby's middle initial was often rotated in terms of what it stood for. Old scripts cited that he had claimed it stood for blue, bark, bite, and buddy. It is assumed these are all incorrect. Within some illustrated materials, Barnaby is depicted with a tobacco pipe. Barnaby's puppet was rotated between a live hand puppet and a walk-around puppet, typically to keep him in frame with his much shorter neighbors. The amount of effort that has gone into these is honestly ridiculous. This is second from last. This is Frank. It kind of has Squidward vibes, Frank does, where it's kind of like pompous. Arguably the smartest neighbor in Welcome Home, Frank Frankly is the resident bookworm with an expertise on butterflies. Despite being the grumpiest and greyest of this colourful cavalcade of neighbors, it's good to have someone so organised and matter of fact amidst the bunch. After all, he enjoys being Frank, even if it means being Frank. Whatever that means, he's Julie's best friend. Frank does not have any known information regarding his origins prior to moving into home when compared to the others. However, there are still notable attributes that have been uncovered. Frank was often depicted with a book or butterfly net, since butterflies were seemingly his focus. He was also a source of information for the other neighbors when an answer to a question was needed, as noted in old scripts, but it would often be discredited for comedic effect. Frank would be partnered with Julie as the straight man in various skits, merchandise and advertising, and in the song The Fun in Your Frown, no track found. In the show itself, the puppet appeared with a fixed frown on its face, but in illustrated material, Frank often had more complex expressions. Any concept work surrounding Frank's puppet could not be uncovered, but there is evidence that has revealed that his head could be fully rotated. That's not terrifying at all. So before we go on to the main house here, Wally's house, let's read the bottom bit here. Please note this information is pulled from remnants found in illustrated pages and old merchandise. Information is subject to change and expand upon discovering new findings. As you can see, there's another X there. So far we've got Y, W, and X. Maybe it'll be like, with ARGs, usually it's for like some kind of password, or I don't know, maybe it will spell out like a secret character or something. But anyway, let's jump into Wally. As you can see, it says goodbye. The rest of them said go back. Wally darling is the friendliest neighbor in Welcome Home, perhaps even the best painter too. With a smile like his, it's hard to disagree. Always eager to make new friends and show them around the neighborhood. Wally is happy to lend a helping hand. But you knew that already, didn't you? Wally is the most prominent character in Welcome Home, as he is often the focus of merchandise, advertising, and he is present in every episode and book. His segments were focused on drawing and painting with viewers. Barnaby was often depicted alongside him, and illustrated pages note that they were best friends multiple times. Most notably scenarios where Wally and the viewer are learning something new. They also share similar characteristics like hats on the soles of their shoes and paws, of which only Barnaby has the latter. A notable characteristic of Wally is his house named Home. Home is regarded as the ninth neighbour, but seemingly cannot speak, as illustrations show Home speaking only in onomatopoeias, creak, squeak and bang. Sources say, however, that this puppet's eyes could move through a hand crank on the other side of the prop facing away from the camera. Additionally, its doors, chimneys and windows were supposedly very animated during episodes. It is implied that Home is the most lively house within the neighbourhood, as none of the other houses seem to have eyes. Now, what's interesting here, guys, it all looks pretty fine and dandy here, but once you start hitting tab, you start realising, so these are all the clickables. You see the house there? So there's a big one here, small one there. So there's little things that you can click here and here as well. But we're going to start off with this here, just in front of the house. If you click just in front of the house, so below. There's as above, so below. And I believe this is Baphomet. I believe this is where this comes from. It's some kind of demon or something like that. If you control A, nothing highlights. If you hit tab, there's nothing on the page. It looks like, from what it looks like, Wally is in front of the house, and this is one of the house's eyes looking at Wally, and the color grading suggests some kind of demonic presence, some kind of dark presence. There's something going on here between Wally and the house. If you click on U here, so it's a GIF that plays Wally is your best friend. So they're really trying to sell Wally to us. I'm not sure why. I think that's all there is for here. Maybe if I hit Control A just to see if there's anything else. It's just strange how this is the only thing that like comes up. So those were the neighbors. So now you are familiar with the neighbors in Welcome Home. So let's move on to About Us. Now this is where things get a little bit weird. Just a little bit weird. So I'm going to hit Control A, and you'll see that certain things will light up. As I read each sentence or each paragraph, I will hit Control A just to see if there's anything hidden within the sentence. The Welcome Home Restoration Project is a team of anonymous individuals dedicated to compiling, restoring, and archiving what few remnants of Welcome Home has been uncovered. It is through these collective efforts that we will awaken the memory of this lost piece of media. We strive to establish a friendly and open community of friends, family, and fans, just like the colourful and quaint neighbours in a beloved home. There's nothing in that one. Although it looks like the O here, yeah, you can see there's an O underneath and an O on top, so this one's out of place. So that makes Y, W, X, and O. The only word I can make out of that is Woxy. Love is clear in the message of Wally Darling, and is as much of a hallmark to him as his charismatic smile, his cheery disposition, and his eagerness to understand the world around him. We too hope to spread this feeling of everlasting joy, caring, understanding, and acceptance to all in the hopes that you will join us in our thorough exploration. Together, we will make this house a home. Visitors may wonder how we came to uncover such a show, where we obtained these works, and the efforts taken to restore them to the best of our ability. To that, we are happy to open our front door to you, neighbour. For personal reasons, our small collective at the WHRP team have agreed upon staying anonymous for our own security and safety. More than that, however, we wanted to make the recovery of Welcome Home our number one priority and wanted it to be the full focus of this website. How did you begin your research into Welcome Home? To be honest, we were drawn in unexpectedly. All of the information found on this website was extracted from documents that had been uncovered in brightly coloured envelopes. We are thankful to be the first to jumpstart this journey, but it hurts. That's where the first one comes in here. So it seems to me that the guys who are uncovering this, something's happening, that maybe they're awakening something, maybe like something's happening behind the scenes basically that's making it uncomfortable for them to bring up this lost piece of media. What do the illustrations, writings, and advertisements look like when you receive them? All of the paper materials tucked away inside the envelopes we have received are usually crammed together and covered in paint and ink. Despite this, volunteers have both restored and recreated most of what was found on the documents. Below is an example of our work as we extract information from the original document and translate it into a digital state. There's nothing else here. But what's interesting about this is that it doesn't look like, for example, this here looks like actual horns. This looks like a demonic kind of thing here. You see paint around the outside. This, I think they've made it a bit look like more friendlier here, potentially. Or maybe this is just ink splodges. But I feel like this is definitely like it's meant to symbolize something. Like something dark's happening here. That's for sure. The original piece in its destroyed state as we have received it, fully restored by our team with slight alterations to the original. Our volunteers have also produced speculative pieces from the information gathered, such as Frank's spinning head, Eddie's removable hat, and the heart marks on the bottom of Wally's shoes. We hope more fan interpretations will be able to arise just like this. This is an exploration of Frank's spinning head mechanics as listed in illustrated material. So this is where you know something's going wrong here. I don't even know what it's meant to say underneath this, but if you highlight it, why did you make this website? When I unwrapped the first letter, I felt it, I heard it. Open, open, open. I want it out, I'm going to get it out. So there is something underneath this design. The people who designed this cartoon, this puppet show, there's some kind of dark presence underneath it. Maybe the person who created it made a deal with some kind of demon to make it popular, and then something happened in which the deal wasn't obligated, like it wasn't met properly, and that's why it was pulled completely, because this demon, I'm not sure. Maybe I'm just speculating at the minute. This is just theorizing here. I'm not actually sure what this says underneath it. We wanted to be the first to showcase this lost piece of media to help spur on the search for its existence. Many of our guest book signatures have talked about seeing this show before, so this is a good sign. It means it is inside of you too then. Does it hurt? I do feel like it's some kind of like demon possession, maybe. Maybe a demon found its way inside this show, and now the people that are unearthing it have kind of like invited it in to them almost, so it can get out. What kind of merchandise did Welcome Home have? It is only speculation, but from what we have gathered, there is a possibility that there are vinyl records, children's toys, and a plethora of other merchandise that can be ordered through various magazines. Someone thinks there are patterns to make your own Barnaby. But yeah, it's cleverly done because they could easily just release a crap ton of merchandise through this. And I would personally buy it because this is genuine quality content. This is creative. Do you know how many episodes of Welcome Home there are? Unfortunately, no. We have yet to receive footage from the show, nor a full catalogue of all the episodes. We have estimated that the last air date for the show was in 1974, but only because it is the most recent date listed on script. The numbers are so hard to read, sometimes I can't see them. I'm not sure if this is like the people who have putting this website together is secretly putting this in there as a cry for help. They feel like they've awakened something, but maybe it's at the point now where they can't stop doing it. They have to keep doing it for maybe unknown reasons. Do you know anyone who worked at the Playfellow Workshop, or are you a former employee? No, and I am not affiliated with the company, but we know of Ronald Dorlane. He must be the creator. We will find other names too. Okay, so Ronald Dorlane is one of the first people from the actual studio that we've heard from. Mostly we've only heard of the characters or background characters in the actual show itself. It's strange how there isn't any kind of, this is just the only person so far who we know of who's actually created this show. Are we able to join your team? At the moment we aren't accepting new members. Who is your favourite resident? Everyone on our team has their favourite, but if you ask me, mine is Wally, darling. He is the most, as he would say. He is the most, as he would say. Okay, so we've been here. Let's go to the guest book now. Thank you for visiting our home. Take your time signing our guest book and have a wonderful day. First name, let's just put you. And then put, maybe if we put, Wally is your best friend. Thank you, neighbor. Just this little thing. It's so cute, man. It's so freaking cute. Okay, so most of these are actual people, but I think if you go further down. Here we go, look. Wally's here. You won't write back. You're looking for me. Silly, silly. I believe the creator has taken a small break because I guess the popularity of this ARG kind of got a little bit too stressful for them, and they're just going to take a step back because obviously there's a lot of eyes now on what's happening here, and I can imagine that that's super stressful. Like, you don't want to mess up, you don't want to let your fans down. So yeah, I can definitely understand that. But from what we've seen so far, I mean, I can't see how this person is going to let us down. So that was the guest book. Then there's links. Spread the good word about Welcome Home with these fun banners. So you can actually take these, I think, and you can save them. I don't think any of them have actual clickable links. Oh, except this one. Right, so I say we go back now to the original. But the one thing, there was, what was it? So Below, I think, was the thing that came up. Let's go to the neighborhood again. Click on this. So Below. So if we were to say as above. Ooh. Uh-oh, looks like you wandered too far from home. You should head back. Man, that's kind of creepy. So yeah, there's a So Below, but there's no as above just yet. So let's go back to that original website that I showed you at the beginning. I believe this is just Clown's website, basically. So you can see that, like, there's actual puppets here, which is pretty cool. The design is, like I keep saying, guys, absolutely phenomenal. I suggest you go check this out in your spare time. Check out their sketches. Go support them, you know, give them a little coffee down here. But let's go back to this now. So we've read through this. But now what's interesting about this is, if you remember in the description between Barnaby and Wally, is that they're best friends, basically. They're like inseparable, and they've got a similar color palette. As you can see here, they're kind of wearing similar things. Look, Wally exclaimed. I made a dog. So Barnaby is actually a creation of Wally. Wally created Barnaby, and that's why they have such a close chemistry, I guess. Right, let's look through these images then. So this here is Frank, I believe. Frank Frankly. I'm not sure what's in his hand here. It's like a red rectangle, and he seems to be surrounded by, like, almost like, this reminds me of, you know, in Toy Story 2, is it? Or, yeah, Toy Story 2, where Woody has that dream where he's thrown into the trash, and all those, like, parts, like, pull him underneath. It kind of has similar vibes to this. This one's interesting. I think this is Julie, right? Let me just make sure. Yeah, this is Julie. But there's something, like there's a hammer, like, covered in blood. So something's going on here. This could be, like, a sister of Julie's, because they said 3 siblings who are also rainbow monsters, but with greatly differing color palettes. So I feel like this might be one of Julie's sisters. Very dark sister, that's for sure. It's for you from the Welcome Home collection. Talkie telephone. Call your favorite neighbors anytime. A delightful message just for you. They can't hear you though. Speak up, speak up, speak up, speak up, speak up. Sup, I can't hear you. I can't hear you. And then it just goes into all this. Now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So there apparently is 9 neighbors, including the home itself. So it's interesting that 6, 7, and 8 are actually, like, ripped off, and 9 and this one here is intact. But yeah, it could mean something, that's for sure. It could mean, you know, certain characters met a horrible fate or something. So this is Wally on his high chair, you know, with the spotlights on him. He's the main guy, I guess. I think Wally is definitely in charge of this. I feel like he is the person controlling all of this. And we also have another one in black and white. It's the same one. This is the famous Baphomet. I think it's Baphomet. It's as above, so below. So this is the theme that's going for. If we search up Baphomet, a symbol of balance in various occult and mystical traditions, the origin of which some occultists have attempted to link with Gnostics and Templars, which occasionally purported to be a deity or a demon. Okay, so basically there's a freaking demon. Wally... It's either saying that Wally is this Baphomet person, or is being inspired by Baphomet. You can see all these eyes again. These eyes are very prevalent throughout these kind of images. This is, yeah, there's something inside of Wally, that's for sure. Obviously, we know Wally is a puppet, so maybe the person controlling Wally had some demonic ties. Maybe freaking like just tainted the whole set. Who knows? It's all theory work. I'd love to hear your guys' theories on what it could potentially be. What's interesting about this here is this is like obviously Wally again, but it's like a Christian cufflink, like a cross cufflink, which is strange because if Wally is depicted as being this demon, then why has he got a religious symbol that would repel demons? But this is you're outside. Good night, good night, good night, good night, good night. Okay. So maybe, I'm not sure. It's very as above, so below, I guess. It's like a balance of the two things, as it's like a demon and an angel at the same time. There's the art. I'm guessing this is meant to be represent the house, maybe. Now, this is interesting here. So there are book pages and alive pages. I'm not sure what it means. It says here, like, this is basically like concept art, I guess. First color, second color, top color, text font, test font. Shading and coloring become more emphasized. Note, it never needs to go this far all the time, but it can. So in the book pages, you can see that they're very happy. You know, they're happy to be there. But then the alive pages, I'm not sure what it means by alive pages, but they just look dead, ironically, in the alive pages. And that's the same for everyone else. So this is Frank Frankly. They just have, they seem to be void of emotion, or they seem to be like life is sucked out of them. And in each of these, it says it never needs to go this far all the time, but it can. So I'm not sure what that means. There is definitely something going on behind the scenes here. I'm not sure if I've missed out anything. I think I've managed to cover all this pretty cool. So that's the coffee link. Oh, hang on. Clown Inspector. What's this? Oh, is this... Okay, so I think this is... Is this Clown's... Is this Clown's Tumblr? If we go over to the page again, I think we actually see their Tumblr here. So, is this Clown? So, who's Fig? Is Fig like someone who's been helping out? Commissions are open. Imagine getting a commission by this guy. I doubt they'll do this, and they'll probably... The amount of commissions that come out of this is probably going to be ridiculous. But they're doing a fantastic... The commissions are closed. Yeah, message me for inquiries. I'm not surprised. I would love to get a commission from Clown. Because just like me, but in puppet form. Like the style of the Welcome Home puppets. That'll be super dope. But I think that this is mainly it then, guys. I'm not sure. Fig must be someone else, I guess. But you guys should go check it out. Maybe I'm just being an idiot. Go check out clownillustration.com. You'll find everything you need to there. Guys, go have a look around as well. Maybe there's things that I've missed. I'm not sure. This is always going to be being updated. The last update was in February. So maybe for Easter, there'll be some kind of update with like found Easter stuff. We'll see. Who knows? Because Easter kind of is religious at the same time. Obviously with, Happy Friday and... is it Happy Friday? What? Good Friday. Well, I say Happy Friday. Definitely go check out Clown Illustration. Keep an eye on it for me. If there's anything new, let me know, on Twitter or wherever, on a YouTube comment, because I'm going to be very closely looking at this because this is fantastic. And I haven't felt like this about like an ARG or just a piece of media in general since like FNAF, like the way that was kind of teased and stuff like that. But there we go, guys. Go check out clownillustration.com. If you enjoyed this little kind of research, then why not leave a like, rate, and subscribe? I'll be sure to do this in the future when it updates. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. I hope you did enjoy, and I will see you guys in the next video. Goodbye, guys.